Hey everyone! Today I'll give you a short update on how my garden looks mid-July. Hope you enjoy this quick tour. Let us start with the containers here. I'll first remove the netting to give you a closer look. With the netting, you might have guessed it already, the long container has all the brassicas in it. This year, I had to move all the brassicas to the containers since I'm facing a huge slug problem in my raised bed garden, which I'll show you in a bit. Here I have some cauliflower, cabbage, and a lot of kohlrabis growing. I have covered them with the netting so that they are protected from the white cabbage moth. You can see some of the leaves are already damaged. There is also a basil and some zinnias growing as companion plants for the brassicas. There are also some brassicas growing in this container, mainly kohlrabis and broccolis growing in the small container. They need to be planted elsewhere for the winter season. Until I decide where to plant them, they'll remain in the small container. In this pot, there are some carrots growing. I have also planted a small tomato, but the growth is really small when compared to the other tomatoes in my garden. Here are the dahlias, which were grown from the bulbs. I had shown them in my previous video. The vertical planter is almost empty. There are only some lemon mints that are growing at the bottom. I'm using the watering system in this vertical planter to water all the flower seedlings. I've harvested most of the spring crops growing in it, which had bolted. Some of the kohlrabis which were growing in them were planted to the long container, which I showed before, so that I can give the netting together. I need to plant some more crops for the late summer, and later I'll plant strawberries in these containers for the next season. Moving on these pole planters, I have some flowers growing, which I showed in another video that I posted 2 weeks back. They're doing quite well. There are some pentas, ivies, petunias, geraniums, and some flowers whose names I forgot. Moving to my square foot garden beds on the ground, there are some things growing here and there, but in general, it is not doing quite well due to the slugs. I'm doing some measures to keep them under control. I'll share it in another video. But it is very annoying and disappointing to see all your seedlings being eaten away by them. I've been growing them since February onwards. Anyway, there are some beetroots growing. Actually, they are ready to be harvested. Some beans, most of them are eaten away by the slugs. Chilies, bitter gourd, okra, cucumber, they're all struggling to grow with the slugs around. I'll keep you updated on how they do. And if you have any useful tips to fight these slugs, please let me know. Moving on to my raised bed on the patio, there are some good news here. The first tomatoes are already here. In this raised bed, I have 2 tomato plants and 1 green chili growing alongside with the basil as companion plant. In the raised bed underneath, there is a patty pan zucchini, a normal zucchini, and some basil and calendula as companion plants. Here are some more flowers growing in containers: petunias, impatiens, and the oxalis triangularis, which is already blooming. As you might have seen, the tomatoes are in need of a trellis, so I'm going to give the trellis to my tomatoes as well as zucchinis. In this process, I also pruned all the lower leaves, damaged leaves, and some leaves that I lost during the process. And this is how it looks with the trellis, so much neater. I love this black bird tomato cage. It looks aesthetically pleasing and it was also affordable. Today is also the day I want to give some fertilizer to the plants. I store bokashi liquid in such bottles, taking around 150 ml bokashi liquid and filling the rest with water. Bokashi liquid will boost the microbial activity in the soil, which is beneficial for the plants. I give this bokashi mixed water every 2 weeks. Now all the plants are watered, and that is the news from my garden this month. I'll be back with more updates. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next. Bye and take care.